All right, so we will be recording this presentation, as we will all. And so my name is Linda Watson. I am from a little town just north of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And what can I say? This whole thing came again, as I put in my emails, from my daughter saying a while back, Mom, you should do a summit. And I said, shut up. And a week later, it was still in my head. And so I reached out to our authors from Equine Leadership, and 11 wonderful people came forward, and we have the week. We had a week in no time. We have over 100 people registered to participate in various presentations this week. I've seen some of the presentations, and they're phenomenal. You will learn so much and be inspired and be enlightened, and you might even shed a tear or two because they're just so wonderful. So just a little technical stuff that we have going on. If you can see the speakers, I'm going to put myself off speaker when we get once we get started and hand it over to these lovely ladies. So put yourself on speaker view so you can see the speakers. We will be doing breakout rooms, and I'm not sure if these ladies will be in the, Emma and Becci will be in the chat pod, but you can have that ready. If you have questions, we're going to save those to the end. So if you have like some pad of paper to jot them down on, that's great. We will be using breakout rooms for this. So be patient as we move you around, because we're going to do them twice. So be patient as we sort of bring you back, and then we'll take you, send you back into a different breakout room with different people. What else have I got? So yeah, Q&As, if you can save your questions till the end, and we'll have a specific Q&A time at the end for Emma and Becci. What else have I got? Yeah, so we're going to post this. This is being recorded, so we'll post this later on today on YouTube, as we will with all of them. We'll ask the presenters permission at the end to post it, and hopefully they say yes, and we've got some action going already. And what else have we got? Yeah, I think I will do any more spiel at the end, but for now, I would like to hand it over to our Networking Neighs ladies, Emma Taylor and Becci Godfrey from the UK. I'm going to over to you, ladies. Sorry, yes.
Right. Well, thank you very much on behalf of Becci and I for joining us. I realise it's so, for you guys, it's kind of mid-afternoon here in the UK. And I know that you're a global audience, so you're all on different time frames. So wherever you are very welcome. And thank you so much for giving up your time. And I hope that the next hour and a bit is going to be a really useful information source and resource for you. You're going to hear lots of incredible presenters, incredible speakers this week. And we really wanted to start off with sharing something practical that has been running in the UK, in Europe, in New Zealand, and a couple of other countries for the last few years now. So Becci and I are going to run you through today what we call Networking Neighs. Becci, before I just explain a little bit of the history, is there anything you want to add in the intro?
No, I think everybody is for people to hear where Networking Neighs came from, and then actually let's give people a first-hand experience of what it's like.
So as Becci mentioned, I'm going to give you a tiny, and I do mean literally 4 or 5 minutes of history and context for you. And then our invite to you is to join us, because we know by experiencing, you'll have a feel for what it feels like to be a part of the sessions. And then our offer to you at the end is, if this is right for you, take this out, run it. We will support you to do that, because it's something that we give to our global equine community. So, and we will give you an opportunity very shortly to introduce yourselves as well, after we've had a little chat. Sorry, and my light's gone off, bear with me. This is typical of why technology is so great when it works. So to give you a brief background, my name is Emma Taylor from the Leadership Whisperers. I've been an HR and leadership consultant for the past 20 years now. The last 8 of those have been specifically working within leadership development with horses. I, as a part of that, both in my corporate career and also in my own business career, I was invited to attend a lot of networking meetings, and I think their popularity has increased exponentially, certainly over the last sort of 5 to 10 years. And typically, so I'm an empathic introvert. So for me, going into a room full of people and having to make small talk and connect with them is, without horses, it's pretty tough, actually. It's pretty hard for me. So I had been to various different networking meetings, and I began to notice that people really were coming from a place of being quite masked. There was a lot of direct selling going along, but there was very little real connection or the availability for people to really show up authentically as they are. So the first thing I did is go, okay, this might just be me. Maybe this is just, something that doesn't suit me. So I went away and I spoke to a few people, and I said, why do you go? What do you hope to get out of this? Why are you doing this? And overwhelmingly, their response was the same. We go for connection. We come away with disconnection. And I said, okay, so why do you think that is? And what transpired is we're not able in those very artificial networking scenarios to really show up as who we are. So I thought about this for a while and thought, well, hang on, we have the perfect answer with the work we do. We bring the networking meeting and format, which is a business model which is current and successful for a lot of people. And we bring what we know, which is the power of connection and authenticity that the horses hold. So to my knowledge, this had never been done before, about 8 years ago. And I thought, well, hell, I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to try it. So I persuaded a group of 25 people to join me and my 2 horses out of a local indoor facility. And I said, will you just, I constructed a model, which is what we're going to run through today. And I said, will you just give me a couple of hours of your time with the precursor that what you give me is honest feedback as to if this works or not. And that, from me, that comes from a place of non-attachment. So do you know what, if this doesn't work, that's okay. If it does, then we shape it and mold it and create it to be something that is valued and needed, and it will exist for as long as it needs to. So we tried it. It worked. Cutting a very long story short, we ran a successful group here in the middle of the UK for nearly 5 years, with 25 to 30 people meeting monthly. And as part of that, the ability to really develop those deep level connections just began to increase exponentially for those individuals. They brought more people. Subgroups of Neighs have started to form over the UK, and Becci's will talk to you as well, because she was certainly one of the early adopters of the model and runs it very successfully. We have rolled it out in New Zealand, the States, and other parts of Europe as well. So today I feel like I'm not quite living my real Neighs dream, because behind me you will see, this is Sparky. So Sparky is a Spanish, a PRE stallion, and this is him in his field in the Cotswolds, where I live in the middle of England. And this morning Becci and I had a run through on Zoom, and we had a massive technology crash. So my plan, my dream, was to be with you, with Sparky in the field, and he is here, but it's not the Sparky I would like to have been here. When Becci introduced herself, you will see also she has her herd with her. So that's just a very brief history as to why Neighs started, what we've been doing, a little bit about its global imprint. And I'm going to hand over to Becci just to talk about her experience and also a little bit about the outline of the model that we're going to run through today.
Yeah, so hi everyone. My name is Becci Godfrey. I'm based in the southeast of England, and I know Emma through, we both were trained in the horse work by the same person. And I when I started doing this work 10 years ago, I started offering kind of taster sessions, and I noticed that people coming along to these taster sessions were exchanging business cards and doing business together. And I realized there was something about the way that people were coming together that was enabling them to connect on a deeper level. So I ran a series of sessions teaching people networking skills, and they were good fun. And then Emma brought out the Networking Neighs model, and I just found this as an easy, sustainable way of having regular sessions with people, being able to introduce perhaps people that aren't familiar with the work with the horses to what we do, have an experience of the work. And also, it was a great way for me to network in a way, like Emma said, that was very congruent to me, that I felt enabled for me to be myself. I'm not really one for going out to a hotel and putting on smart clothes. That's a pretty rare occurrence for me. So this seemed like the perfect way for me to marry that whole connection building piece, getting my herd involved, and actually meeting the needs of the local community. So I have 3 horses. This isn't the herd that I started doing Networking Neighs with. My original herd have all moved on, sadly. So I've had the fun of introducing my horses to this method over the years. And what we're going to share with you today is a kind of an online version. It's an abbreviated version because we haven't got time to do the whole thing, but it will give you a taster of what it's like to experience this. I am out in the barn with my herd, and so we do have the horse energy with us, and my hope is that you will be getting something from that as we're talking. So the very first thing we're going to do, and we probably need to get rid of that slide you've got up, Linda, if we could go to a gallery view so that everyone is up on the page. And Emma and I are going to invite you to do what we call a one breath intro. And a one breath intro is literally, as it says, you're going to introduce yourself, maybe where you're from, and if you have a business already doing this work with the horses, maybe the name of your business. And that's pretty much all you're going to have a chance to do in that one breath. But what I just want to do is everyone have an opportunity to know who else is on the line today. And then what we're going to do is we're going to break you out into a number of breakout rooms. And so when we have a Networking Neighs, we have everyone comes together, we do like a quick intro that everyone does, a 1 minute or a one breath intro. And then you would go off into smaller groups or pairs to take your conversation to a deeper level. So we're going to give you the chance to do that with the breakout rooms today. We're then going to come back and we've got a little summary. We're going to share with you a little bit about what Networking Neighs looks like for us. And at the end, there's going to be some time for some questions around the model before we finish. This session might be a little bit longer than an hour. It might run to 1 hour 15. So if you could bring up the screen with all of us on, Linda, you're on mute at the moment. You're muted at the moment, Linda. Are you able to unmute yourself?
I can see gallery view, Becci.
Ah, I've still got the screen. Okay, if you can see everyone on the screen, then Emma, do you want to introduce people one at a time?
Yeah, can I, if we have the bandwidth to pop your videos off and take your mute off, so we can, because it'd be lovely to see your faces.
Yeah. So I'm going to say bandwidth, and I'm going to come off video, and then we've got a little bit more.
Oh, fantastic. It's lovely to see your faces. It's very odd talking to black screens with names. It's very odd. So, Becci, can you see gallery now?
I can't actually. I still got the initial slide up, but don't worry, if you can see everyone, and just invite people one at a time to introduce themselves.
You can kind of minimize that screen and then see everyone. I just did that. You just drag it over.
If Linda stops the share screen,
then I
It'll
think.
pop up.
There we go.
Okay, so I'm not going to ask you, I'm just going to invite you individually to share in one breath who you are and a bit about you, please, in any order.
I'm Teresa Sherwood. I live in King, Ontario, and I'm lucky to have Jennifer Schramm here with her horses, her herd that she does equine facilitated therapy with.
Hey, thank you.
I'm Sandra. I'm in the UK. I've just literally come out of commercial sort of life in the last sort of 6 months. I've just started my equine journey, so I'm sort of six to 8 weeks into that already.
Great, welcome.
Thank you.
I'm Roseanne Morphy. I'm in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. I work for a First Nations community as a prevention worker, and after this, I'm going to go back on to take the video off because I'm just getting ready to go for work. So, but I do want to hear. So, hello everybody, and thank you for this opportunity.
Great, welcome, thank you.
Good morning. I'm Diane. I'm from South London, Ontario, and I've just started my field business about a year ago.
Great, welcome, thank you very much.
I'm Kim Hallen. I'm in just outside of Charleston, South Carolina in the United States, and I have an equine-inspired learning business called Unbridled. Glad to be here.
Great, thanks, Kim.
Hi, everybody. I don't know whether you can see me or hear me.
We can indeed,
oh,
Tara.
You can. Hi. Yeah, I'm Tara. I'm from the UK. Actually physio by trade, but have had a passion in my heart and the experiences that I've seen with horses, and just recently connected with Debbie in the UK. So starting my equine journey. So thank you. It's lovely to be here. Thank you.
Great, welcome.
Thank you.
I'm Jennifer Garland. I own and operate the Main Intent. I'm in Peterborough, Ontario, Canada, and I will be presenting tomorrow. So welcome everybody, and I enjoy this. I'm looking forward to this session.
Thank you, and we'll be tuning in to hear you tomorrow as well.
Hello everybody, I'm Sylvia from Sweden. I'm been working with horse assisted education for 10 years. And I'm working with leadership development, as well as have pupils from a school nearby coming every week. So I'm working with the horses practically.
Great, thank you very much.
Unfortunately, I have to leave this meeting, so I'm very much looking forward to the recording later. So
no problem.
If I go black in a while, then you know I'm so sorry, but I have to leave.
No problem at all. I think Linda said you'll be able to catch it. You'll be able to catch up on YouTube. That's great.
Yes, that's great, and I'm looking forward to it. Thank
Fantastic.
you.
Thank you.
Hi, good morning. I'm Eileen Dean. I'm a PATH. I'm in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Just relocated here this past week. And I'm a PATH certified instructor, as well as an eGala equine specialist.
Great, thank you, welcome.
Thank you.
I am Pat Hutchinson, and I'm in Oshawa, Ontario, Canada. Hi, Gabrielle. I am a certified facilitated equine experiential learner practitioner. I came to this very late in life. I was a civil servant. This is wonderful, absolutely wonderful. It found me. I did not find it. It found me, and I helped Linda out with the Equine Leadership magazine. So it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful life. Thank you. I'm really looking forward to these.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
I'll follow that. I'm Gabriella Ostendorfer, and I'm in Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
And I am currently, I don't have my own herd, and I've been feeling a little lost actually. So writing the article for the magazine and doing this has really revitalized. And this morning I have this huge emotional intensity being on this call. So I'm looking forward to it. My session is this afternoon about movement and equine heart.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. Again, I'm so delighted that some of you presenters have joined us, because you know, it's through collaboration that we're going to learn so much. So it's a joy. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Suzanne from Toronto, Canada, and I don't have a lot of equine experience. It just something drew. I got an email pop up about a month ago about something, and I went, "Oh, I have to tell my friends about this. Let them know." And it was singing bowls, but it ended up being at a horse farm, and it was amazing. So it was just, it's like I'm just kind of being pulled in. So that's all that I have to say at this point. So.
Great, exciting journey ahead. Welcome.
Thank you.
I think we have two more that have just joined us. We have Ruthie and Amy. So I wonder if Ruthie and Amy can come off or come on video. Oh, there's somebody. There
My
comes
name is
Amy.
Mary. Oh, can I go? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
My name is Mary Walby. I'm
sorry,
the
Mary.
founder of God's Window Senior Horse Rehab and Sanctuary, and I do hospice care for horses.
Excellent. Excellent, Mary.
Wonderful. Thank you and welcome.
Hi, we're Susanna and Stacy. We're in Warwick, New York at Winslow Therapeutic Riding Center, where Eileen just left us to move to Spartanburg, South Carolina. Yes, tears. Stacy's the head instructor here, and I'm the horse care and grounds coordinator, and we're both, you're advanced
certified with PATH.
Yep, and I'm registered or CTRI with PATH.
Wonderful. Well, welcome to you both, and thank you for coming.
Well, hi everybody. I'm Amy, and I'm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I originally am from Buffalo, New York, where I went to the International Center for Studies in Creativity, which is how I learned about this training. Not only do I have no equine experience, I'm really afraid of horses. Heights scare me, so when I get on one, I'm very nervous, and I also have control issues. So anyway, I'm very passionate about leadership and training in behavioral health care called motivational interviewing, and I use Monty Roberts' expression of communicating with a horse, and this was really intriguing to me, and I hope that I can incorporate some of this in leadership development courses and other things that I do with staff.
And thank you, because it's really, for pointing out actually, Amy, because I didn't say that the majority of Neighs that I run are actually people with no horse or equine experience. They are business people. So thank you for naming actually what a lot of people bring, which is trepidation, uncertainty, uncomfortableness with the horse sometimes. So thank you. That's reminded me to say that this can be used. This model can be used with people that are used to being around and are comfortable with horses, but it has real transformational depth and power for people that don't too. So thank you. Is there anybody else that we haven't heard from? I'm trying to keep track and the screens keep moving, so bear with me.
Hi, good morning. My name is Patricia Sloman. I work with the Pueblo of San Felipe in New Mexico with their equine therapy program. I've been with them for almost a year. I'm fairly new to equine therapy. Thank you.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hi, my name is Callie Knapp, and I am also from New Mexico. Patricia and I are colleagues. We both work for the Pueblo of San Felipe. Horses have been a part of my life, my whole life. And so it's what has brought me to I guess what I call bridging the gap. I really believe in horses being used as a therapeutic tool, and that is a big part of what brought me to being a mental health therapist. So I'm happy to be here and to learn from you all. So thanks for having me.
Thank you. You're absolutely welcome.
I wonder if we have, do we have Ruthie? I wonder if we have somebody, Ruthie, that joined us. I'm wondering if she's, Ruthie, if I get you up on video. Maybe that's somebody else that's got that, maybe somebody else with that name on there. Oh, there she is. Found her. Hey. You have to come off mute. Ruthie, I need you to take your, you know what? I'm going to unmute you. There we go, if I can. I need you to, there you are. Now we can hear you.
Okay. My name is Becci Godfrey. I'm from San Pueblo, New Mexico. I work under the Health and Wellness Department. I'm certified by CSW, and I'm just glad to be here. Thank you for the invite, and I'm looking forward to taking some back to use within my work and what I do. Thank you.
Thanks, Ruthie.
Great. Thank you, Ruthie, and welcome. I'm Becky.
So, hi, yeah, I introduced myself. My name's Becky. I'm based in Southeast England, and with us today, mooching around in the yard with us, is Dainty, Squirrel, and Jim. And this is Jim's first Networking Neighs, so he's very excited.
Linda, I feel like you kind of, we know you. I don't want to give you a chance to.
All right, my name is Linda Watson, and welcome to those of you that I do know and that have written for the magazine or are going to and are going to do presentations. Thank you so much. For those that I don't know, lovely to make your acquaintance. I see some of, I'm jotting down things here as we go. I'm like, she's from London, she's from Toronto. We need to have a meetup. We have people that are close by. I've been in the horse world since I was 11 years old, had my own farm for 20 years, taken some time off from the equestrian business, and then I got into the equine learning business. And then almost 6 years ago, this magazine sort of jumped into my heart. Equine Leadership jumped in my heart as a magazine, and now we have multiple platforms such as this one that we are giving the horse's voice, or giving the horse a voice. That's the way I like to put it, is that we're sharing their wisdom, we're giving them a voice. And what a great way to do it. And, you know, in the present climate we're in now, Emma and I were talking about it before, like, we wouldn't have done one of these in person, that the cost to it would have been immense. So to have sort of a worldwide audience, and believe me, we have a worldwide audience in this from the people. I have over 100 people registered. So I'm just blown away and looking forward to all the sessions this week and looking forward to meeting everybody. So thank you for being here. We're good to go. I've got breakout rooms almost assigned. I've got a funny echo.
I was just thinking I can hear an echo.
Yeah.
I think you might need to mute Ruthie.
Oh, okay. Where's Ruthie?
I think maybe.
Yeah. Okay. We'll find her.
So this is how we start every Neighs, really. It's here in the UK, it's a very traditional, I guess, model. So who are you? I guess what you want to, we limit it to one breath, because actually it's really easy for us to go on and talk about, some people say a lot and some people don't say anything. So it's really just to bring all of your collective knowledge, wisdom, energy, everything into the room. The point being, this then leads nicely onto our next section, which is where we invite everybody. So Becky and I run 2 or 3 of these, where we invite you to have conversations, and we're going to do it in small groups just because of the nature of Zoom. But in a live Neighs, we ask everybody to pick somebody they would like to have a 10-minute conversation with. And we ask you to do that with 3 people normally. So that would be, you have 3 10-minute conversations where you're really just, there's something you've heard that somebody said that you thought, you know, that's really interesting. I just want to know more. We also do this in the presence of horses. So, and touching actually on what Linda mentioned earlier, it's very much for Becci and I and the other people who run Neighs, very important that the horses are given choice. So our horses run free, and it's up to, you will see, we have a little video later on, it's up to them to choose the interaction. And we are very clear with participants around what those boundaries look like. So my mare in particular is an absolute foodie. So she would sniff out a polo, an apple, a carrot or whatever at 500 paces. So it was always really clear to me that we had this safe introduction bit out of the arena with the horses. And then we would let people the horses would come up and they would actually just be, as they would have heard, just be observing, well, what are these people doing? What does it feel like? Do I want to be a part of that? Do I not? As participants would be doing for them too. We would then pick our one-to-ones and we would go into the arena. So the rules that I was really clear on, it was no food. The horse's choice is paramount. We would also do a very short safety briefing. So both Becci and I are trained in the EAHAE methodology of leadership. So we are very clear about what safety and safety agreement looks like. So it's being responsible for your own actions, being also creating that group responsibility for somebody else. So if you are standing with your partner in your conversation and you notice one of the horses come up behind, it's your responsibility to say, are you okay? You okay? Alert them to that. My Lusitano gelding had the wonderful habit that he would back into people really, really, really slowly to scratch his bum on them. And it was absolutely fascinating to watch. Where is your, and the conversations we would have would, I mean, he was joyous because he did this gently and calmly, but with absolute purpose. How far could he push his butt into you before you did anything? And, you know, some of the conversations are, well, where else does that showing up for you? So it's really about then asking people to step into that space with the horses to have this connection on a one-to-one basis. People would often report back to us, actually, do you know, we didn't talk about business the whole 10 minutes. We spent the whole 10 minutes watching the horse. We spent the whole 10 minutes thinking about how do I feel and naming it. So really interesting that the breadth and depth of the conversations that come up. So that I wanted to outline what it would look like in a typical Neighs, and then we're gonna do our version of that today. So I know Linda, in her technical wizardry, has no. Well, I'm non-techie, so I'm clueless. I know you've worked out a way for us to go into Zoom rooms, haven't you? So that we can.
Yeah. Give me just a minute. Yeah, give me just a minute. I'm just writing down because we're going to do them twice. Correct? So I'm just going to write down who I have first. It's hard to stop those conversations, isn't it?
Just like in the physical Neighs. Really tough. And I feel mean because I'm kind of like, oh,
sorry.
Jim.
All right. Oh, you're up. You're done. Everybody's back.
Great. So Linda, could we share the video now?
Yep. I will share my screen and there's our video. Good. Where did I have it?
No.
1 second. I thought I had it open. Oh, that's it. It wouldn't open for me. Hold on one second.
Do we need to clear bandwidth and go back to?
Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, give me a second here. It wouldn't allow me to open it and hold it open.
Oh.
It won't let me minimize either. Uh-huh. Hold on a second. Ah, there it is. Oop. There it goes. Oops. There we go. If that's working. Sharing screen, aren't I?
It's a big. It looks like it's a big file. So.
Is it working?
I
Not yet. Not yet.
Hold on.
It might be just downloading it and getting it ready because it's a big file. Like it looks like it's 120 meg.
No, it's downloaded on my computer. It should share right through. So I think everybody might have to come off their speaker or off their audio because it's right there. It should be playing. It's actually playing on my computer, so I'm not sure why it's not playing.
Have you shared the right screen, Linda?
Do you have two screens?
I am screen sharing.
You're currently screen sharing Internet Explorer, so you need to pick the screen with the video actually playing.
Yeah, I am. I'm not sure why it's not playing. Oh, well, we can get rid of all that.
Do you have two screens?
No.
Okay.
I recommend stop screen sharing and then try again.
Yeah, wait 1 second.
Becky, can you access it from your side?
Not downloaded on my laptop.
No worries.
I can.
No. Sorry about that. It was playing and I had it set up. I don't know why it's not. Patience, everybody. There's that one. Yeah, I think we're all going to have to go off our screen, off our
close video,
off our video. Everything else. Stop share for a second. I'm going to close everything else I have up. Okay, let's try again. See, this keeps overlaying. Is it playing?
Nope.
No. Sorry, ladies. I don't know. It's playing fully on my computer, so, and it is sharing.
I'm wondering whether we can share the video in a different way later on for people who would like to see.
Absolutely. Oh, if you have a link for it, I can put that up. Absolutely. If you put it somewhere, I can put it up. Sorry about that. I don't know why it's not. It's fully downloaded onto my computer. It should be playing right over.
No problem. It is the joys of technology. I think if you're all okay, you to kind of mute and come back online.
Yeah.
So we will share with you a video that Becky's put together, which is just some of because we've talked about what a little bit about what the model looks like, and you've experienced a little bit of it, but it can be really hard to grab it as a kind of a concept without pictures. So we've just shared lots of photos of what Neighs sessions look like, actually all around the globe. I think there's some UK ones, there's some European ones, there's ones at conferences, there's I think a couple from the New Zealand one, and you can really see, I think you can see in the video and in the photos, the level of connection that's happening. And you can also see, I guess, the way that the horses are asked to participate in the way that they want to. So the things we mentioned earlier really show up in that. So we just wanted to give you an overview of that, and that's what the video will be. In a live Neighs session, this is the point where we have the opportunity for a speaker. So a lot of the networking events in the UK and Europe, there is an opportunity for a speaker to talk for maybe 20 minutes or so. My previous experience of networking meetings was this was usually a very thinly veiled sales pitch, at which I would switch off after 30 seconds of them trying to sell me something, at which point all connection and authenticity went out the window. So I decided that I wanted people to have an opportunity to share more about themselves, but the caveat was, it was their story. It was, why do you do what you do? So yes, I always ask people who would like to be a speaker slot, but I'm super clear, it is not about, you know, if it were me, I am Emma Taylor, this is the Leadership Whisperers, we do. It is, I am Emma Taylor, I was drawn to do this work because blah, blah, blah. A huge difference. I found initially it was quite tricky to ask people to show up in this way, and they were quite keen to, I could definitely felt some people slip into sales, and I said, so if you're unsure, then, you know, have a chat with me and we can talk about the best way that you feel you would be comfortable. We always did this speaker session with the horses, and I have, and some of the photographs you'll see in the video, the most phenomenal pictures of a huge circle of sort of 30 people, a speaker, and then the horses standing sentinel either side of the speaker. They have no halters on, they're free to choose where they want to be. But without fail, they always knew who needed. I'm laughing because somebody's coming, oh, here they all come. In the background for Becci. They know where they need to be, and they know what is needed to support the person in that speaker session. And it might be people shared their journey of why they started the business, something that's happened to them. But it was really that authenticity to create real connection was what the speaker sessions are around. And Becci, in terms of how did you find that with Neighs and Easter?
So I actually tweaked it a little bit. So I did some feedback with people, and when it came to the speaker slot, people said to me they'd like to learn something. So I tweaked it a little bit to share like a top tip, your expertise. And that seems to go down well. So we've done sessions around self-care. Gosh, I'm just trying to think of the different sessions. Graham, another speaker that's speaking this week, he did sessions about mythology and dragons, and like you, Emma, I found it best when people share something that's really truthful and authentic to themselves, something that just lights them up. So April's session, which we've had to postpone, was a relationship counsellor and psychosexual therapist. So she was going to talk about sex, you know, which is feels like a brave thing to do, but it was authentic to her, and she was really passionate about it. And so it was right to get her to be speaking that passionate way. So but it's brilliant, and I've done those sessions without horses, or when the weather's good, I've done the sessions with horses. So it's all good. Yeah.
So really, it's the 20 minutes in the model where you can choose how you want. And that, thank you, Becci. I knew yours was slightly different and I was struggling to remember what it was. Choose for your audience, what do you want to bring, what do you want to create in that, and that again, that kind of forms and shapes your sessions as well. And yeah, you will definitely see in the video, as we mentioned, what that kind of physically looks like. We would always close a Neighs session, but again, we talked at the beginning about safety by making sure, often after, I certainly found after people had shared their story, there was a real piece of work for us to do as a group, just to make sure it was closed safely. People felt they weren't just disappearing into the car park in a big emotional mess, because that isn't okay. That's not okay for me, and that's not what I want to create. So we were really clear about making sure that if people wanted to talk, they stayed and talked. I was also clear about the horses are now done. So if you want to have a chat in the car park, have the chat in the car park, but the horses are now done. Oh, great, I can see a slide. Actually, that's perfect. Thank you, Linda. You can you see on the screen the Networking Neighs summary? Yeah, cool. So that's just a printout of one of my early ones, but on the left. So that is me with Archie. And one of the things we used to do is used to run these at breakfast time. So I used to give everybody, that's my bay horse that I mentioned who was well, basically instrumental in setting these up, a little outline. And Becci asked me last night, she said, so how many people do you think you've done this? And I thought, I have no idea. So we kind of, I guesstimated, and I realized when I actually worked the figures out, that's about half the people. Yeah, because I hadn't anticipated kind of corporate audiences or actually realized how many people have had a chance to experience the model. So it's probably double the number that you see there. And it's the feedback they get is that it's really needed and valued space. So my intent has always been, I share this model with everybody freely. And I've had lots of questions from business folks in the past saying, oh, you should franchise this and you should do this. And I said, no, you missed the point. The integrity of this is something we all, is about having something to share, and that can be shared freely where it is needed. And I think that speaks to exactly where we are right now in the world. I mean, it's always spoken to where we are in the world, but right now more than ever, be kind and give kindness. So I guess my invitation to you, and I know Becci too, is if this is something that you are interested in doing or you want to find out more, then where people have wanted, I've helped them set up their own version of Neighs. And it gives me huge honor and pleasure to see that model working where it needs to work and doing what it needs to do. So if you are interested, I know Becci and I will both share our contact details. Feel free, and there is no such question as a silly question, because I guarantee you if you asked it, I've probably either had made the mistake or had the same question. Becci, is there anything else that you would like to add before we open up for a bit of Q&A, if anyone has any?
Just to say that we've also run these for large groups, haven't we? So you said you get somewhere between sort of 20, 25. I tend to have my venues smaller, so I tend to have smaller groups. But we have also run this for groups of 50, 60. Similar format, it adapts, and that's definitely where the one breath intro definitely comes into its own. For the horse assisted community, as a way of us connecting and networking as a community. So that's something we've also done, yeah.
I think, Linda, actually, it was that, I have to get the acronym right, EAFPN conference that I think, that you saw us.
Assisted Facilitated Practitioners Network.
That's the one. I get all the acronyms wrong. where you saw this with a big group.
Absolutely, it was wonderful. Yeah.
You just make it and tweak it and work with it to create whatever you need to create.
Well, and it's that, if I may say, it's that connection you're making. It's not the long conversation. You'll have that after, but it's that initial chemistry that you're having with somebody. And oh yeah, I want to talk further, and we'll go that. And actually, I'll mention something at the end here. As you're doing this, I'm like, how can we keep this connection going between all the presenters, but as well as all the participants? So I will talk about that when you guys are done.
And I know certainly what I do is I encourage people to, if they have them, bring business cards or some I'd normally say business cards, swap those over and commit to contacting that person again. So I would also do a follow-up email just to everybody with a few photos. We've created Facebook groups so people can connect that way too. So there's a lot that you can do to build it as a model. Obviously they're all closed groups, they're all private, etc. To really kind of help support people with the conversation to keep it going and keep people connected. So I wanted to say a huge thank you for all of your time and patience for listening. I'm aware we have run over the hour, and we did warn Linda. We said, we'll go on for ages, Linda. But I just wanted to give, if you are prepared to give us 5 minutes more of your time, just to open up for 5 minutes of Q&A, and then anything else, please come either to Linda, myself, or Becci.
Do you want us to comment in the chat with questions or just ask questions?
Because I'm so not great with technology, I'd love you just to ask them.
Can I ask I'd like to ask a question around safety. So the horses are at liberty in the group itself. So if you're I'm just curious, because the only time I've had an issue is when my horses have been at liberty and were spooked. So I'm just curious. I'm curious, do you have them sign waiver forms? How do you handle the safety and I hate to ask the liability question, but they are big animals and you're working with people who've had no experience with them. And it's kind of, in a bigger group, for me personally, I'm interested in doing this model, but it makes me a little nervous. I'm curious how you address that.
It's a great question. So first of all, from a liability and insurance perspective, I am fully insured for a lot of money. My horses are all assessed as to whether they are suitable, able and willing to do this work. And that assessment includes on the day. So they may have participated in the Neighs before, and if for some reason I think they don't feel quite right, or there is something, then I listen to that, I pay attention, and that horse won't join that session. I do a lot of safety setup out of the arena, which is I don't do waiver forms because of the safety agreement that I talk everybody through right at the very beginning. We also have the ability to have horse handlers. So that means that there are people who are dedicated and solely responsible for really, I don't want to say watching the horses, but I want to say really observing and noticing. And I will do that to a certain degree because I'm not involved in the actual one-to-one conversations of just checking out, actually, are any of them, do they look uneasy? Are they uncertain? And the place that I run Neighs is an indoor arena. So it's on a very, very quiet farm. There are, as far as we can make it, there are minimum situations that it's not a busy riding school. There's not lots of things happening. But I'm very clear with participants that it is about our personal safety. It is about wearing suitable footwear. It is not standing so close to a horse that you are uncomfortable, or if you see somebody else and you are uncomfortable, that is a conversation to be had. So for me, there is a level of safety and accountability with the other horse handlers that we have in the arena as well. So I think what I would say is check out for your individual countries what works best for you. So from an insurance perspective, I personally wouldn't do this unless I was fully insured. A lot of thought had gone into the safety, and I felt fully confident and prepared, because if I don't feel that as the facilitator, then I'm bringing that to the event, is my personal view.
How many horses and people would you have in the arena, Emma?
So for me, I would only work with 2 horses at the same time in the arena, and those are 2 horses that live together and have a long-term relationship. So they do know each other very well. But it's raising people's, to me, it's a self-leadership thing. It's saying to people, you are accountable for you and the safety of the group. I was just thinking, so my mare so Sparky, for example, this chap hasn't done a Neighs. Now, there's a whole number of reasons for that. I'm strategically placed so you can't see his giant stallion balls, but he is a stallion. I will just say he's the kindest, nicest, gentlest stallion in the world. But I know that a Neighs environment would be overwhelming for him. It's just not his thing. He is a one-to-one, real deep relationship horse. So I think it's being really honest with ourselves about what that looks like too. Does that answer your question at all, or do you have anything further?
Emma, can I add something?
Sure.
So I haven't done exactly what you're doing, but one thing I've done with kind of networking things that include non-horse people is it's actually very possible to do this staying outside of the pasture fence, where the horses are inside and the people are outside. And that's not exactly the same experience, but they say just being in the environment with the horses.
Sure.
And the horses can come to the fence and interact a little bit. So if safety is a big concern, or you're not set up insurance-wise to be able to do that, it is possible to do a version of it without being inside with the horses.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's really about what you're comfortable facilitating, isn't it? It's not every, I mean, I put it out there as this is the model I like to use, but do what works and what is safe for you.
Yeah, and I would add to that, I echo totally screening the horses for suitability. That is, for me, it's a #1 thing. And the other thing is I do give a little briefing to people about like your personal space, their personal space, what my horses understand as asking and requesting for space to be given. So before we go into the space of the horses, I do that briefing, and then I am eyes on the horses the entire time we're in the session. Yeah, so that's how we work. And my horses normally have some kind of food at that time. Oh, for a moment we did get a picture. They have food, and it generally makes them quiet.
I mean, here at Winslow, we lease our site out to TRR. It's a warrior camp for vets dealing with moral injury. So they use our indoor arena. It's totally private. The horses are totally at liberty, and it is what Eileen is certified in. There's a mental health professional and the equine specialist through EGALA. What they do, you know, before they come in, they ask us staff, you know, Stacy, me, whoever, you know, they look to us for guidance because they usually want to start out with a larger herd. And then their smaller sessions throughout the week may only be 2 to 4 horses. So we've had a herd up to 9 at this point, which we have done once before for one of their trainings. But it is extremely beneficial to have somebody who I think works pretty closely with the horse or the horses, especially if you're going to have more than 2, that really knows their herd dynamic within the herd and their behavior and all of that as far as keeping things safe. And if you don't necessarily have an instructor that does that at your barn, because some instructors just instruct, I would highly recommend reaching out to your barn staff at that point who works with the horses at Liberty, and they could probably do like a session for your staff with the herd. But they're, you know, it's one of the things I'm wanting to explore, because I know the herd here that I work with very well, all of them within their different paddocks. But I'm curious to know how I would understand or relate or be prepared with horses that I don't know. I think it's totally different, but there's definitely, you know, ways to keep them safe. And then there's definitely horses that, yeah, I think might not be a good fit for that type of at Liberty group or personal work. So knowing that is key as well.
I would also actually, I'm just thinking as we're talking, I've had a couple of instances where the energy that somebody who's attended the networking event has brought has had a really significant impact on the horses. And I think I've had 2 conversations with people who I've asked not to return. And that's not an easy conversation to have. Well, it is and it isn't. It's easy for me because my horses come first, actually. But, you know, guiding somebody kindly towards maybe another way to explore their self-awareness and the impact they are creating is something I would say to be prepared for, because people make people unsafe. It's not just horses make people unsafe. You know, that for me is the biggest thing. I can't stress enough about the treats, the apples and carrots and stuff in pockets. It sounds silly, but I had somebody who, from her perspective, it was very well meaning, and she said, but I do this and I know all about this. And I said, I respect that, I think you do. But she brought in, so in the UK we have these like tubs which are basically like a molasses lick, I guess, which people use as treats. And firstly, my horses are on a no sugar regime because they have conditions. And secondly, that's not okay because I've specified that you can't do that. So we had to have an interesting conversation about that. So I think that safety is really absolutely fundamental, and it's again, Becci and I are really happy to chat with you about any concerns, any thoughts, and thank you, Kim, because that was really great to hear how you work too, because that's a, you know, another fantastic way to work.
Yeah, actually, I do it outside, but also, so I don't even have an indoor arena or anything like that. So if I do it in the pasture, it's actually a pretty, you know, it's about an acre pasture and the horses are grazing. So I find that this also creates more safety. The horses aren't in close quarters, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's not like a high value resource like a hay pile that they're fighting over or anything. There's no resource guarding behavior. Nobody's allowed to have treats. It's just it keeps it as calm as possible.
Yeah, great.
I need to wrap this up now.
Yeah, we're going to get past time here.
They're hungry.
That's Daisy who's come in. I think Becci and I joked that Daisy would quite like a Sparky baby. So yeah. we think that would be pretty. We just have to persuade Sparky because he's not interested at all.
Thanks so much for this session. Very useful.
You're so welcome. Any questions or queries, please do ask us. Linda, thank you so much for creating an incredible space, as always, for all of us to learn and collaborate. And I look forward to seeing all of the other presentations this week. I think my brain will have exploded by the end of it. Wonderful. Thank you very much, everyone. And you know where to find us. Keep in touch.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So don't run yet. And thank you, both of you, for being our first ones to go, and waiting for some of you other ones that are on here to go. Yes, thank you so much for bringing this and open it up so that others learn about it and others can do it. And the horses just support that networking and us getting to know each other on that authentic level. Little technological, sorry about the technological issues, but that's the way it goes. So we will post this at the end of the day. I will put any websites and things. I really encourage you to go there and ask more questions, show your appreciation, whatever. That will go up on the Equine Leadership page. I am thinking to continue this networking though, because it's great for everybody to meet each other. And I know over the week that'll happen more and more. I'll put it up, I think I'm gonna open up the Humanity Needs the Horses page. It's a small group, it's a private group. But I think if you go there, I'll add that to the posting of this. And I'll send out an email. I think we can go there and we can all network. I think that might be a really nice space for us to go and keep the conversations going and share what we all do, because it's fascinating what everybody does. And I just want to know so much more. So let's keep this networking going in the space of the horses. So virtually, so to speak. And with that said, thank you so much for coming. Thank you, ladies, so much. I'm sorry Sparky couldn't join us in life, but Becky, thank you for your horses for being there and sharing their energy with us. And with that said, let's go have lunch, and we're gonna be back this afternoon for Gabriella. So thank you so much, ladies. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.